Right now on Sunrise, it is another alert day. Here's a live look right now from our storm tracker. Interstate's looking good, but those dropping temperatures overnight could mean some new icy spots on the streets. What to expect?
Plus, the winter weather can take a toll on your car. What you need to check for as the cold temperatures continue to overwhelm our area.
With alert day coverage now, this is Wave News.
I did some shoveling yesterday, and my arm is sore today.
It's a workout, that's for sure. Lift with your legs is what they say, though.
Not your back.
So full body workout.
Right. And mine's got the broken handle on it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm like holding the shovel, but it's also got the handle, some kind of the clunky way to try to get anything shoveled out there. So make sure you got gloves on. Maybe really thick gloves and all the winter gear, really, because you can get frostbite and these kind of temperatures. If you can't wait until later today, don't need to get out and do any type of treatment to the roads and shoveling as far as your sidewalks and driveways this morning. Wait until the sun comes back out midday, early afternoon to be the best opportunity to take care of that. We have the cold weather advisory technically out until 11 a.m. and it's for just the really cold wind chills. Right now, the actual numbers, it's 9 in Louisville. 8 below 0, Jeffersonville, 3 coming into Paoli, and about 7 below North Vernon. So let's factor in the wind. There's not a lot of it, so that's good. But still, with the wind being factored, it's 10 below 0 right now into Madison, Indiana, 6 below Bedford and Paoli. Louisville, our coldest wind chill of the morning so far at 2 below 0. Where do we go from here? Well, we're going up. Thank goodness. Not way up, but we're going up. That's all that matters. Temperatures in the 20s. Passing clouds at times, you bet. That'll be a possibility off and on throughout the rest of this Wednesday. We do have some snow chances coming our way into the coming days. We'll talk about whether or not they could accumulate in part of the area here in just a few more minutes. But Rob Wales, just keep an eye on your morning drive on this Wednesday, as it looks like a lot more folks are on the roads than we've had in previous days.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. Thanks so much. And at 7:02, good morning to you. If you are heading out on the roadways, it is bitterly cold, as we had talked about all morning. But the good part, things pretty clear right now. This is 65 over Ali Boulevard. You see the traffic really ramping up out there. No major slowdowns or accidents, but you do want to watch some of the buildup of the snow and all the sludge and debris over to the sideways of the roads that's been pushed off over the last 24 to 48 hours after that storm moved through. Otherwise, the big picture not looking too bad right now. No accidents to report. If it changes, we'll let you know. Now, here is a live look this morning. This is from our storm tracker this morning on 65, and you're going to be wanting to watch out for any icy patches, as there could have been some refreezing overnight. Now, some of those neighborhood and side streets, they are still a little tricky to navigate, as the plows haven't been able to reach every single area. Not all main streets are completely clear either, especially we're talking about intersections or when you get close to the sidewalks. So far, Louisville city leaders say they're pretty happy with the progress that they've made.
Can be challenging work. It's hard work. It's very cold out, and driving a plow can be a challenge. But those folks have showed up every day, around the clock, to make that happen for the city, and it's because they love what they do and they love the city and they want to make things safe.
Once again, watch out for icy patches this morning, especially on bridges and your overpasses. Shannon.
Thank you. Governor Andy Beshear gave an update on the state's response to the winter storm and continues to remind people to stay indoors as temperatures are very, very cold. He says if you do have to venture out, clear the snow and ice off your vehicles. State troopers pulled over this car right here because most of their windshield was still covered with snow. And yesterday we captured sheets of ice and snow flying off of a semi on I-65. KSP wants to remind people snow and ice can loosen and then give way as you drive. That can be a hazard to other drivers and can cause crashes or damage vehicles.
We've got some reports of people just, getting a little bit of ice off the front windshield to barely see. That is not safe. You need to make sure your car is in good condition to drive out there, especially right now. Make sure your windshield wipers work. So please be safe. Go slow, clean off your car before hitting the road, and continue to give our crews a wide berth. They're trying to make conditions as safe as they can be.
And this is an example.
The governor says highway crews worked over the weekend, making many primary routes passable, but secondary routes could still be an issue. Since Friday, state and contracted plow crews have covered 670,000 miles. That's enough to circle the earth more than 26 times.
While Metro crews have treated and plowed the roads, you may have noticed that many sidewalks in our area are still snow covered.
And that means a lot of people have been walking in the streets despite the danger of that. This is the case in places like the Highlands. Metro officials have asked businesses and homeowners to shovel the sidewalk in front of their place, which a local ordinance requires. If a business or property is along a public road, it is up to the owners to clear the sidewalk. Public buildings like Metro Hall or the courthouse have to be cleared by the city. Louisville residents we spoke with say they want to see the community come together to safely clear the sidewalks.
We all should pitch in, help your neighbor, and I think that's what solve the problem.
Just use caution and, use common sense. Look in front of you and see what's clear and what's not, and find the best walkable route.
Metro Public Works officials say if you see a sidewalk that has not been cleared, you can call 311 and report that to the city. The department will then notify the property owner that they need to remove the snow or face fines.
While many people have been staying inside, that wasn't the case for everyone. Along with road crews, police officers, and power crews, healthcare workers also had to brave the snow and ice to make it to work. Although roads were dangerous, medical emergencies require healthcare workers to be available 24/7.
We do our best to be here and to be here for our patients. And some people would be surprised at how many patients actually show up. I had a patient in a wheelchair yesterday, and I thought, my goodness.
Dr. Colton also says if your case isn't an emergency and you don't feel comfortable driving, you can see if the appointment can be done via telehealth. You can find our full coverage of the winter storm on wave3.com or when you download the Wave News app. You can also find updates on this morning's alert day by downloading the free Wave Weather app.
UPS says it will not be putting its MD-11 plane models back in the skies. The fleet of planes have been sitting at Louisville Muhammad Ali International, grounded since the deadly plane crash in Louisville. An NTSB report says the plane crashed after its left engine detached during takeoff. UPS CEO Carol Tomei says the MD-11s will be replaced with Boeing 767s. UPS said MD-11 crews will continue to get paid during the transition. They also have 18 Boeing 767 aircraft scheduled for delivery between now and 2027.
I am incredibly proud of our team at Worldport and how they responded to this accident. And I would like to thank the Louisville community, as well as our business and industry partners, for their outpouring of support.
Tomei also says they decided to accelerate their plans to retire those models after getting through the peak holiday season and determining they could manage without them. UPS also announced it will cut up to 30,000 more jobs as they reduce the number of Amazon shipments that it handles. The cuts will also include the closure of another 24 facilities this year. Last year, the company got rid of about 48,000 jobs, launched driver buyouts, and closed operations at 93 buildings. It's not clear how operations in Louisville will be impacted.
Today, we expect to hear new evidence in the murder trial of a Southern Indiana man accused of killing his wife on Valentine's Day. The jury has had an extended break in Taylor Meyer's trial because of the winter storm. Prosecutors say Taylor Meyer stabbed his wife, Deborah Meyer, more than 40 times in their Clark County home. Meyer told police he suspected his wife was cheating on him. A witness has testified that Deborah showed no sign she defended herself and also had strangulation marks. Meyer has pleaded not guilty to murder charges.
Louisville's downtown will get a new look as there's a new future ahead for one of the city's skyscrapers. Developers have now announced plans to turn Fifth Third Tower into a JW Marriott hotel. Fifth Third recently left the 26-story building on 4th Street last year. They relocated to Nulu. Now, Indianapolis developers, the Goldman Group, will convert part of that high-rise into a hotel. Plans on their website call for 418 guest rooms, flexible meeting and event space, and retail space. There will also be an outdoor patio and bar. Construction is expected to begin soon. JW Marriott is a luxury brand in the Marriott portfolio. They have locations in Indianapolis and Nashville. Still to come, a Minnesota congresswoman attacked at a town hall.
We'll show you more of the video and what Ilhan Omar had to say about the incident.
Well, with the weather still impacting so many of us, officials are warning of people trying to scam others during this time. Duke Energy is taking to social media, alerting customers about this scam. The utility company, which serves some people in southern Indiana, says some are getting texts saying that there are scheduled rolling power outages, and those texts are asking people to click a link to see where the outages are on a map, but do not click it. Duke officials say scams like this go up in popularity when people are worried about losing power and heat.
Please avoid those. I would encourage you and our customers to slow down. If a payment request feels urgent or suspicious, pause and protect yourself.
Duke Energy says it will never demand money or threaten service cutoff due to unpaid bills, especially not during winter weather. And first responders are reminding people to avoid walking on frozen bodies of water. This happened in Meade County. Animal control there and firefighters had to help rescue a cow that had fallen into an icy pond. They say the farmer called for help to get the cow out of the water. The farmer had lost 2 cows the night before and was so grateful first responders were able to safely rescue that girl.
Definitely have to be careful on that ice. You never know how thick it is.
Yes, but cows don't really know where they're walking.
They don't either, but the humans do. A message for us to keep in mind, Brian.
Yeah, very good point, especially when you have plans with your family to do some sledding, especially if it's sometimes usually on a hill next to a body of water, like a lake or a creek. Just be mindful of that, too, because you may not be able to see them because they're covered in snow on top of that. This morning, we actually have a little bit of ice at times on the edges, especially the Ohio River. Not too uncommon to see that, but still gives us a good reminder of how cold it has been here into wave country. Current number 9 degrees. Feels like 2 below zero outside at the moment. We're going to prove things in the next few hours, not in the short term here, though. These are actual numbers again. So you can see the issue with the snowpack. You drop below zero across Indiana. Any type of wind will push you there. Central Kentucky generally running into the upper single digits to around 10 above. You factor in the wind chill, what it feels like when you step out. About 2 below zero here in Louisville. Fort Knox, 4 below. 2 below into Shelbyville. 10 below zero into Madison, and 6 below into Paoli. That's the reason for the cold weather advisory that is out for those values of 5 to 10 below that we have across southern Indiana, especially. A little bit real close to that value overall. All right, we got a batch of clouds trying to sneak in south of St. Louis. It may try to squeeze out maybe a flurry or two as it moves into central Kentucky later on today. Otherwise, this batch of snow back into areas of South Dakota. That one will arrive with another chance for some very light snow that will graze near the same path. The flow is kind of stuck here from the northwest guiding to the southeast. Eventually, that type of flow will lead to a winter storm that should develop somewhere in the Carolinas. Even in Myrtle Beach, they may get some snow out of this system. So this has been an odd setup here the past few weeks on wintry weather. All right, for today, 23, the high 27 for your Thursday, 22 on Friday. It will come, though, with another batch of one of those little waves of snow that moves in on Friday, and maybe just enough with this one to add for more of a kick on accumulations. I'm saying maybe up to an inch in some areas. So not a big snow, but an inch of snow, even a half inch of snow, and a very cold setup would certainly aggravate the cleanup process we've had in the past few days, and may even cause treater roads to have a brief disruption again before they have to go back out and do another round of treating again. So kind of keep that in mind for your Friday. We'll keep an eye on the trends on that as it gets a little bit more defined in the next couple of days. Then after that, we get into the very cold air. Wind chills will be a big story. 1 below zero for an actual number of Saturday morning here in Louisville, but I think Louisville has a chance to drop to 15 or colder below zero for your Saturday. So very cold, extended outlook, maybe above freezing at the end of next week. Olivia?
Above freezing sounds nice.
Yeah,
Thank you, Brian. Sure. A new report from the Department of Homeland Security says 2 officers fired their guns during the shooting that left Alex Preddy dead in Minneapolis. The report says while Customs and Border Protection agents attempted to take Alex Preddy into custody, an officer yelled he got a gun multiple times before 2 officers fired their weapons. The 37-year-old VA nurse died. It's not clear whether the bullets from both law enforcement officers hit Preddy. After the shooting, a Border Patrol agent said he had possession of Preddy's gun. Criticism of that shooting has increased the odds of a government shutdown. Some Democrats are now refusing to support funding for the Department of Homeland Security. Democrats are calling for DHS funding to be separated from the other funding bills, like the Departments of Defense and Transportation. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is one of the key members of the Senate who says he won't support Homeland Security funding. The White House says the negotiation should not lead to another government shutdown.
Policy discussions on immigration in Minnesota are happening. Look, the president is leading those discussions, but that should not be at the expense of government funding for the American people.
The Senate must not pass the DHS budget as currently written and must be reworked to rein in and overhaul ICE to ensure the public's safety. The fix should come from Congress. The public can't trust the administration to do the right thing on its own.
If all Senate Republicans vote yes, they need at least 8 Democrats to join them to get the funding passed. Both sides have until midnight Friday to make a deal to avoid a shutdown.
A man attacked Minneapolis Congresswoman Ilhan Omar at a town hall meeting last night. Video captured him spraying an unknown substance at her. It happened just seconds after the Democratic Congresswoman called for DHS Secretary Kristi Noem to resign. Omar's security detail took the man out of the room. He was taken into police custody and charged with first-degree assault. Omar continued with the town hall after the attack and said she doesn't let bullies win.
The National Transportation Safety Board says there were a list of factors that caused the mid-air collision that killed 67 people last year near Washington, D.C. The NTSB started their final draft report hearing on the crash. The hearing will explore what led to the crash that killed everyone aboard the American Airlines jet and the Army Black Hawk helicopter that collided over the Potomac River January 29, 2025. In the hearing, members of the board pressed for changes to prevent a similar tragedy.
There is a tendency in the immediate aftermath of any investigation or any accident that we investigate to question human error, the actions or inactions of individuals. However, human error in complex systems like our modern aviation system and the national airspace system isn't a cause, it's a consequence. Many things need to go wrong for an accident to occur.
The plane crash was the deadliest on U.S. soil since 2001. The Federal Aviation Administration made several changes shortly after the crash to guarantee helicopters and planes no longer share the same crowded airspace around the nation's capital.
Well, it's 7:19 right now, and still to come. It's almost the end of January. That means it's Valentine's Day right around the corner, and maybe get ready to pull out your wallet.
We have details on some of the most popular items for your loved ones and what it could cost you.
Starting today, you can check out the region's largest outdoor show. They have boats, RVs, all sorts of outdoor gear.
It's part of the Louisville Boat, RV, and Sports Show filled with hundreds of vendors and fun activities for the whole family. Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote is checking out the show early this morning and has more.
We might be in the middle of winter, but I'm already thinking about summer and hitting the open road, all the fun national parks to see there. I'm here with Devin, and where are we about to enter into right now?
Hey, Kirsten, thank you so much. So we are getting ready to enter into the 2026 Montana 3100 RL. It's a luxury fifth wheel by one of the top brands in the country.
Wow. All right, let's go check it out here. I'm already thinking about wanting to go to Yosemite. Just coming in here, I mean, this is some amazing stuff here. Tell me a little bit about what we have here.
Sure. So Keystone did a complete redesign for the 2026 model year. You've got a lot of cool features. So right here is a charging station that pops up. You got extra plugs, USB ports there. You've got residential appliances. You've got a chef kitchen. This is one of the coolest features right here. So here we have this foot pedal with a huge hidden pantry hidden right behind the TV and the fireplace.
Oh my goodness. And this is like a house. Like you can totally live here. Easy.
You actually can, and many people do. Many people sell their homes and decide to do the RV lifestyle and get a fifth wheel and live on the road.
It looks so comfy, and you have an amazing kitchen here, all the great stuff, a little table for 4 people. You can fit the whole family, the whole squad. And obviously if you're gonna, be living here, you gotta have a place to sleep. Tell me a little bit about the bedroom here.
Yeah, so beautiful master suite here. Take a look in the bathroom. That's actually got a residential shower, but in the suite, we've got a king size bed. We've got a huge closet. There's washer and dryer prep. You got a flat screen TV. What's really cool, Montana actually built a fireplace into the dresser. So plenty of space up there. Just makes it feel like you're living in luxury on the road.
Definitely. And so the Boat and RV show, it starts today, Wednesday, here through the weekend. What's your message to get people to come out here?
Sure. Well, we'd love to see you. We're here at Walnut Ridge. We're a top 50 dealership in the United States. This year, we were actually awarded the Blue Ribbon Award, which they give to the top 5 dealerships in the U.S. So quite an honor, and we'd love to have you come out.
Definitely. So exciting. All right, let's go. We're going to hit the open road. I'm going to go road trip to Yosemite now. Back to you.
That sounds like fun. Kirsten, thank you. Oh, you know what's around the corner? Valentine's Day. The National Retail Federation expects Americans will spend $29 billion this year. That's a record amount. Shoppers are budgeting about $200 for gifts. Candy, the most popular Valentine's Day gift, followed by flowers, cards, a night out, and jewelry.
2 weeks left to start planning.
That's right.
You're on the clock.
We'll be right back.
This Wave News update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm Shannon Kogan. You'll want to watch out for any icy patches on the roads today because there could have been some refreezing overnight. Here's a look from our storm tracker. Right now in the Highlands area, you see all that snow pushed to the side, but the road's looking pretty good. But a lot of those neighborhoods and side streets still rather tricky to navigate. City leaders say they have been happy with the progress they have made, though, so far. But extremely cold today, Brian.
You got it. And also a good reminder, make sure you get your mailbox areas cleaned off too and scraped. Otherwise, you're not going to likely get any mail delivered. They'll skip your box there. So make sure to get everything cleaned off for all the crews that need to get to you there in your neighborhoods. All right, you can see Spaghetti Junction so far looks to be flowing fine. We'll check in with Rob here with an update on how the roads are trending. 9 above, and Louisville feels like 2 below 0. And there's that cold weather advisory that is out along and north of I-64. Get actual number 9 here. 6 below is the actual number into Jeffersonville. Wind chill about the same. 7 below 0 for wind chill in North Vernon, and 8 below into Bedford. Nice and quiet. Some clouds may sneak in with maybe a flurry or two, mainly south and west of Louisville. Otherwise, we'll end up getting ready for another cold blast that'll arrive as we head into the upcoming weekend with snow chances into Groundhog Day, Rob.
Brian, thanks so much. And at 7:28, good morning to you. Keeping an eye on the roadways, not too bad out there. We are seeing a lot more traffic than we did yesterday. Folks may be making the trek back to their offices or work spots for the first time in a couple of days. This is 264 at River Park Drive. Nice, clear conditions. We are seeing some wet patches out there, so you still want to watch the potential for refreezing out there. And also, we are getting reports of treating and plowing going on around the Bardstown area. Otherwise, things not looking too bad out there on the big picture right now. Right now, things looking clear and no tie-ups. We'll see you back here in 25 minutes from now.
Good morning. Thanks so much for sticking with us here for Sunrise Extra. Hopefully you found a way to stay warm during this bitter cold. But that winter storm that we saw has made a lot of impacts across the country, and especially here in the metro. It's also buying time and extending a life-disrupting deadline for dozens of families. Wave News reporter Julia Richardson updates us on who's impacted by the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office temporary pause on evictions.
The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office is temporarily suspending the enforcement of evictions until at least February 2nd. Now, one landlord I talked to said it's worth taking a little bit of a pay cut to make sure that people aren't put out on the streets in dangerous conditions.
We can't just sit people out on the street.
30 families throughout Louisville were supposed to be evicted by the end of January. But with a snowstorm and freezing temperatures, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office has ordered landlords like John Hayes to not enforce those evictions.
Yes, I'm affected by it, financially speaking. If somebody's not paying the rents today, here's the truth. A lot of these evictions that are taking place today, they started all the way back at Thanksgiving, so that stuff's just now rolling out. We've just had our hearings recent, so there is that side of it.
But Hayes says he doesn't mind the financial impact if that means people aren't put out on the street in freezing temperatures.
You've got a couple of feet of snow on the ground when things have been plowed. And you have kids in these situations as well. If you're a landlord, the bottom line is you have to be prepared for things that you don't expect. This is one of those times.
And Steve Healy with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says he encourages all businesses to have compassion in these times.
When you're talking about utilities, and not just heat, I mean, a lot of people, they get their news via their internet. When you look at weather events like that, take into some consideration and some compassion about whether we need to go shut that person's utilities off that day. It's not about who's right, wrong, landlord, anything like that. This is about public safety and humanity.
And a reminder for folks is that court orders are still valid throughout this time, but evictions just will not be enforced until these weather conditions improve. Julia Richardson, Wave News.
And because of all that snow, a lot of people either had their cars stuck or snowed in, or maybe they didn't drive at all. But now, as you're turning on your car for the first time since that winter storm, you might notice your car doesn't even start. The battery might be dead because batteries don't do well in this bitter cold. The owner of a local auto repair shop says there are a few things you should check on your car before you start driving again. They say it's important to check your car after days of having it parked and surrounded by snow. One big thing is the condition of the windshield wipers and if they have enough fluid. The owner says it's crucial after a winter storm.
If you get on the expressway and you got a car that's throwing debris up on the windshield, and you've got a bright sunny day like it is today, that gets on your windshield and you're going into the sunshine, you can't see.
Yeah, I dealt with some bad glare yesterday because of what was left behind in my windshield. Also, any batteries older than 3 years old should be inspected. And if the service light turns on, it's best to get your car to a repair shop as quickly as possible. I'm sure they will be very busy. But as the temperatures start to rebound this week, it could reveal some busted water pipes. Plumbers are responding to all kinds of calls for major leaks. Wave News troubleshooter Mark Stevens tells us how one homeowner says they got very lucky with broken pipes.
The homeowners got lucky on this one. They were leaving to go to work at 6 a.m. this morning. That's when they saw water squirting out of their hose bib here. You can see all of the ice. That's how much water was coming out and obviously freezing. They had a spare piece of gutter that they used to ship some of that water to parts of the yard. You can see where it's kind of muddy and icy. That's the amount of water that was going there. The plumber who was here fixing said that was a lifesaver because it broke outside of the house. Typically, if one of these faucets will fail, it'll fail inside, and then obviously a homeowner is going to have a huge mess to clean up. One of the tips that the plumber said is definitely know where the water shutoff is, and if you don't, know where another shutoff is.
Water meter is absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. It's great to take note of that. Obviously, in these freezing conditions, when the snow is, 4 to 6 inches deep, it's a lot harder to tell where it's going to be. Generally, we're able to go off of marks they paint to tell us, on the street where it may be. With the snow, it's a bit harder. So it's just kind of a guessing game at that point. It is definitely great to know where your isolation valve is.
To prevent this from happening again, the plumber says if your hose line has a valve on the inside, to make sure that you shut that off and then drain this line. Otherwise, just be sure that the hose isn't connected and that is off during the winter, especially during these temperatures. In Louisville, Mark Stevens, Wave News.
Yeah, very lucky and close call there, but certainly thinking about all those people who will have to deal with those busted pipes this week. Today, we expect to learn more from developers who will be in charge of the future of Mid-City Mall. This has been a big discussion as people wonder, what does the future of that property hold? Representatives for branch properties will be at today's Highland Commerce Guild meeting. The Atlanta-based development firm will be working alongside the family that owns Mid-City Mall to redevelop the property. Zoning documents propose building a grocery store and 6 standalone retail buildings. That meeting starts at 8:30 over Zoom, and we'll keep you updated as they release more details about that property. After LMDC was accused of unlawfully holding inmates beyond their court-ordered release dates, Metro government has now agreed to a $20 million settlement. All sides agreed to participate in mediation back in November. Jacob Healy and Larry Hibbs say they were held at LMDC after workers denied them a work release the courts approved. The men's lawsuit claimed false imprisonment, unlawful detention, failing to train and supervise staff properly, or maintaining policies and procedures that caused these violations. The men had asked for lost wages and punitive damages before agreeing to the settlement. The Wave troubleshooters obtained an email of Metro Codes and Regulations Director announcing he's retiring from the office. It comes less than a week after Wave troubleshooter Alina Noakes confronted Richard Price at a press conference about claims the department was a toxic work environment under his leadership. Alina has more on this latest development.
When I approached the director last week, it was to get comment on an investigation based on complaints employees had been making for months. Those employees say his leadership created a toxic work environment. But despite their repeated ethics complaints and multiple sustained union grievances, they felt the Metro wasn't taking them seriously.
Enough is enough. Huh? You can only scream into the dark so much.
Almost from day one, there's been something afoot.
You know, employees literally fear for their jobs on a daily basis.
Employees within Codes and Regulations, speaking with me anonymously, paint the picture of a toxic workplace under the leadership of Director Richard Price and Assistant Director Odell Henderson. Mayor Craig Greenberg appointed Price to lead the department in December 2023, Henderson soon after in early 2024. Both are longtime city employees. Local 2501 leadership, who represent about 60 Codes and Regulations employees, tell me it didn't take long for their members to start expressing concerns. Now they filed this formal notice of the hostility, detailing ongoing pervasive conduct and institutional failures.
This isn't about one single instance. It's more of systemic issues within the environment, within the department that need to be addressed.
Employees have used all the proper channels at their disposal to bring these allegations to light, including coming to us. The union has filed 12 grievances in less than a year, citing repeated violations of the collective bargaining agreement. Those on top of employee ethics complaints that cover several areas: nepotism, favoritism, unequal treatment, and retaliatory behavior.
It's disheartening because executive leadership is aware of this situation, and they're leaving our members in danger.
Wave News obtained copies of 60 ethics complaints, though union leadership believes there to be more than 100 filed during Price's 2 years as head of the department. They paint a clear picture of just how long the tension has been building within the Department of Codes and Regulations.
In my tenure here, I've never experienced the neglect or the attention that these have gotten. I mean, it's unprecedented.
Records the troubleshooters obtained show Metro officials have been aware of these allegations for months. More on that to come. I attempted to ask Price about these claims directly at a press conference just last week.
We're talking about misconduct today with the public. How do you respond to allegations of misconduct?
I'm not taking the questions right now.
Are you sure? I mean, these are directed at your leadership, sir.
Yeah, I know. I'm not taking any questions. It's not true, but.
The troubleshooters received a copy of the email Price sent to his employees announcing his retirement Tuesday. He doesn't acknowledge any of these allegations and characterizes the department he's leaving as one focused on fairness, consistency, and service to the public, with confidence in the department's direction.
In a press release, Mayor Greenberg thanked Price for his commitment to the community. We asked if Price's retirement is connected to these ongoing claims. Press Secretary Matt Mudd tells me they have no additional information to share. Wednesday, an exclusive Wave News troubleshooter investigation. We give you the full picture, not just the detailed complaints, but just how long Metro officials have been aware of them. Alina Noakes, Wave News.
And you can check out our full list of troubleshooter investigations online. Just go to wave3.com and click on the troubleshooter tab. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in just 2 minutes. A new study has found 30% of Americans are looking to pay off one or more debts this year. And this Watching Your Wallet, Rachel DePompa looks at ways you can get started.
It's one of the most popular New Year's resolutions out there, pay off debt. Sarah Rathner, a personal finance expert with NerdWallet, says it's a great goal and one you can easily start to tackle right away. A third of Americans felt optimistic about their finances going into the new year, according to the 2026 Consumer Outlook. Rathner says that also means just as many Americans are feeling stressed right now, which is why she says one of the best things you can do if you have high interest credit card debt is to chip away at it as aggressively as your budget allows. That frees up more money.
Pull up the most recent credit card statement you have or other statements for other debts and write down how much you still owe and what interest rate you're being charged. Because a lot of people don't actually know this amount. You're making these payments every month, sometimes even just the minimum payment, and you're on autopilot. So take yourself off autopilot and see where you are today.
Then she says, figure out what debt repayment plan makes the most sense for you.
Maybe you want to save as much on interest as you possibly can. So you use what's called debt avalanche, where you prioritize the debt with the highest interest rate first, and then you make minimum payments on all the other debts. And once you knock out that high interest rate debt first, then you move on to other debts on your list.
If you're struggling with motivation, she says, try a debt snowball where you pay off the smallest debt first so you feel like you're making progress. Once you feel that victory, you move on to the next largest debt on your list. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
The Fed is expected to keep the federal interest rates the same. The pause would come after the Fed lowered its benchmark rate at 3 consecutive meetings late last year. The meeting also comes amid weeks of turmoil involving the Fed between the chair, Jerome Powell, and President Donald Trump. If the Fed keeps rates steady, as economists expect, consumers may not feel as much of an impact. Louisville's first medical cannabis dispensary is getting ready to open this weekend in the Highlands. Kentucky Alternative Care will open for business Saturday morning. They're located on Bardstown Road near the Kroger and Norton Immediate Care Center. This is the first licensed medical cannabis dispensary to open in Jefferson County since it became legal last year. Only those with a medical cannabis card, though, can purchase products at the dispensary. Keeneland Racetrack in Lexington will celebrate a new chapter in 2026 with the opening of the new paddock building. It'll be ready for this year's spring meet. Construction has been underway for about 2 years now. The new building replaces the former administrative building and will expand viewing and dining experiences. There are new jockey quarters and centralized saddling stalls, bringing race fans even closer to the action. And inside, there are several new dining rooms, creating 1,000 additional tickets for race day. You'll find traditional sit-down dining, new bar concepts, and a panoramic rooftop. Tickets for the spring meet go on sale on February 17th. Oh, I love going out to Keeneland. It's so beautiful out there. The Winter Olympics just over a week away, and the excitement is building across Italy and around the world. The opening ceremony for the Milan Cortina Games is happening in just 9 days. NBC's Claudia Lavanga has more from Milan.
With only 10 days to go, the Winter Olympics opening ceremony here in Milan, the city is ready for what organizers promise it to be the greatest show on earth. Milan is plastered with posters about the Olympics, and people here are bracing for the excitement, sure, but also for the disruption that the Olympics may bring to this city with road closures and, of course, the friendly invasion of athletes and spectators. In the meantime, after it crisscrossed Italy on Monday, the Olympic flame arrived in the other host city of this Winter Olympics, Cortina, a mountain resort about 150 miles from here. And the torch arrived there exactly 70 years to the day since the opening ceremony of the last time the Winter Olympics were held there, January 26th, 1956. But the big day here in Milan will be the opening ceremony of this year's winter edition, February the 6th, when the headliners will be Mariah Carey and the Italian tenor Andrea Bocelli, among others. But the real stars will be the 1,200 volunteers who will perform that night. Some are professional actors and dancers, but most will be regular people who, for one night only, will perform in front of a live audience of 60,000 people in the city's main stadium, and hundreds of millions who are expected to tune in from around the world. Claudio Lavanga, NBC News, Milan.
Oh, the opening ceremony is always so cool to watch. But here's something that's not so cool to watch, at least not if you're in this position. These tourists in Sri Lanka had to make a break for it when an elephant went after the van they were in. Take a look at this. Cell phone video shows the massive elephant approaching as a Russian tourist tried to feed it. The elephant used its trunk to rock the van and knock a door off. The woman who fed the elephant escaped out the side door along with a child. She said she didn't expect the moment to turn so chaotic, but this is your reminder from wildlife experts to never feed wild animals. They are very lucky they got out of that okay, but such a close call there. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with some headlines coming up in sports. Well, we have a scam warning this morning as the New England Patriots prepare to take on the Seattle Seahawks. The Better Business Bureau is warning about scammers trying to take advantage of those excited fans. So the scramble is on for game tickets and hotel reservations, especially a lot of events surrounding the Super Bowl. So to avoid getting ripped off, the Better Business Bureau says there are a few key do's and don'ts. Start by doing your homework, meaning know what things cost and which sites are reputable. So don't be lured by those low prices and deals that seem too good to be true. Scammers are also targeting people booking hotels over Super Bowl week, so be sure to contact the hotel directly to book your room and make sure your reservation is legit.
Don't click on a link on Craigslist or on social media, Facebook and so on. Don't even waste your time doing something like that. The chances are they're going to be scammers. Check out the broker.
Scammers are also targeting people booking hotels over Super Bowl week, so please be aware of all of that. And you definitely don't want all that money going down the drain for nothing, especially when you're planning a big weekend like that. A reminder that Super Bowl Sunday is February 8th in Santa Clara, California, and you can watch it on Wave and NBC at 6:30. The UK men's basketball team was back in action last night, putting their 5-game winning streak on the line in Nashville, taking on the 18th ranked Vanderbilt Commodores. But this one got out of hand quickly for the Cats. Vanderbilt started the game on a 13-4 run. That stretched out to be an embarrassing half for the Cats, with the Commodores taking a 20-point lead into halftime. Didn't get any prettier for the Cats in the second half. They saw themselves down by as many as 28 points. Vanderbilt would go on to win by a final score of 80-55. That snaps the Cats' 5-game winning streak. Kentucky will be back in action Saturday, taking on a familiar face, former head coach John Calipari's Arkansas team, and that one is at 6:30. But Indiana's football team may have taken the attention away from the men's basketball team, at least for a little while, but basketball front and center for Hoosier fans as they took on in-state rival 12th ranked Purdue. So this is always a big rivalry here. After a back and forth first 15 minutes of the first half, the Hoosiers, down by 4 with 5 minutes to play, ended the half on a 21-6 run to open their lead to 11 going into the break. Lamar Wilkerson basket early in the second extended their lead to 14. But that's how high the lead ever got. The Boilermakers will stick around waiting to make their comeback, which they ended up doing. They cut Indiana's lead to just 2 with 90 seconds left in the game. Purdue, though, couldn't take advantage, never tying or regaining the lead, and Indiana would close out the game at the free throw line, winning it 72-67, a big win for Hoosier fans right there. Hoosiers will be back in action Saturday at UCLA at 5 p.m. So doing well in a couple different sports there. Thanks so much for joining us for Wave Sunrise Extra. Hope you have a great Wednesday.